Good evening. We're getting ready to start the Nagurayama Brewing Company virtual tour and tasting. We're letting everybody in at the moment. Remember to please keep yourself muted, and if you can, turn off your camera, but we will announce that again as more and more join. I'm going to do a few things, just a little chit chat with me and Kerry as we're getting ready. This is Fukushima. This is an area we have yet to visit. Well, back in Tohoku, but approaching a different side and a different place.
So exciting! Really pumped. I mean, with these tours, the hits just keep on coming, and that is not an understatement, ladies and gentlemen. We just got another very special, holy sake brewing place to introduce you to in the heart of Fukushima. Can't wait.
Yeah. Always entertaining, always fun to learn about a new place and new producers and different techniques of what people do when they're creating the sake. And every brewery, although we learn it every time, everybody makes basically the same beverage, but they all have their own little unique nuances and differences that make all these sakes special.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's a real doozy today. I can't wait. I'm just really excited. Very close relationship with Fukushima, so just looking forward to introducing everyone to this wonderful area of Japan.
I luckily got to visit Fukushima quite a long time ago.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Wonderful.
In the year 1999.
Oh wow! Wow.
I was in Japan, participating in the first ever international kikizake sake competition, sake sommelier competition. And when we finished, we had set up a tour. And one of the spots we went to was actually Aizu Wakamatsu, interestingly enough. So I got to check out the Fukushima sake brewers, and it was very entertaining, and of course always fun learning and tasting and experiencing. It was not my first brewery tour, but when Fukushima was probably number 3 and number 4. When I lived in Oita, I got to see a couple breweries in my town, but I didn't really know what sake was, and I wasn't touring as an enthusiast or as a sake lover. It was just a thing to do. Whereas Fukushima was the first real, I need to learn more about this crazy good beverage and check it all out. So that was an intriguing trip, to say the least.
Yes. Oh, fantastic. And the competition was in Tokyo?
Yes.
Very good.
It was very fun. It was an interesting challenge. You know, technically I might have been selected as the quote unquote token white guy from New York City, so that there were some non-Japanese entrants into this particular international sake competition. And so I got to participate, and it was crazy fun, super well run, really tremendous event. There's many stories about that, but we'll save those for another day. As we keep allowing more people coming in, people are still in the waiting room, and they're still joining. We're at about 81 people now. We'll keep waiting till we get a little bit more members to jump in here with us, and then we'll move into the next aspect of our little event. Have you been to Fukushima?
So yes, I have a very close relationship with Fukushima. My father is from Fukushima, from a town called Motomiya, which is about, I would say, maybe 25 minutes away from one of the major cities of the prefecture, which is Koriyama. And I've been going there ever since I was a child. And I spent my summers there during my grammar school years. And I attended the local grammar school there for about a month and a half, and then I enjoyed the rest of my summer break. But really fun memories. Yeah, special place.
Kerry,
yes,
tell us a little bit about what's going to happen today during our virtual tour.
You got it. First and foremost, just want to say a big thank you, a big aloha, big konnichiwa to everybody from around the world visiting us on this virtual tour. I've got Eugene Hopkinson from England. We've got Sue Hong and Wizard Kumpai from Chi-Town. We got Joel from the Sac Town, and we got Rebecca Green from San Fernando Valley, LA. What's going on? Represent the West Coast, and all over from everybody from all over. Really, really appreciate. And we're going to be drinking sake together, delicious sake together. So I can't wait. Anyway, let's go on. We have a quick introduction of our guests, followed by a tour of the facility and a short presentation about Fukushima, Aizu Wakamatsu, and the Nagurayama Brewery. Number 2, we will taste the sakes together with the brewer. Please feel free to sip the sake at any portion during the tour, but we would like to discuss a little bit about the sake in more detail after the tour. So, well, perhaps for obvious reasons. And last but not least, we will have a Q&A. Please feel free to send your questions out in the chat, and then our man Craig, who will be introducing very shortly, will do his best to address your questions. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. I'm going to launch a quick poll for everybody. Just a little what's fun in festivities in Fukushima, and let us know what your favorite is. While we're running the poll and slowly allowing more people to join us, please take your time, say hello, answer those. But while we're doing that, I'm going to introduce myself. So I am Chris Johnson. I am the World Sake Imports National Sales Manager. I love sake. I was lucky enough to live in Japan in the early 90s as an English teacher, and was exposed and have made it my life's journey to continue to share my aha moments and help other people have aha moments due to this just absolutely phenomenal and amazing beverage. I am also sometimes referred to as the sake ninja. I am a sake samurai, and again, I am a huge, huge sake fan. Kerry, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, everybody. My name is Kerry Tamura, also known as Kanpai Kerry. Started out in Chicago, opened a sake lounge there called Murasaki, which for those of you visiting the city can still find, and have been in LA for about 10 years and been with World Sake for most of those years, really enjoying the lovely breweries that we represent, and sharing the joy of sake with anybody I encounter. So really having fun with it. Thank you very much. Next up.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And our host in the
Yes.
chat, Craig, give us a little howdy.
Aloha kako, everybody. Craig Tabandera coming to you after being deported from Hawaii by my wife back to Manhattan, our ninth Hawaiian island, so that I could help share the spirit of aloha with everybody that lives here via sake. Had the opportunity to work for World Sake Imports now 2 times. Other breweries. Absolutely love the beverage for the last 20 years, and happy to be here to share the benefits and the different individual attributes of Nagurayama with everyone.
Awesome. All right, we're still not quite at 56% of the poll. Anybody who hasn't seen the poll, jump on there and give us some answers. But I'm going to shut that down in a few seconds, and we'll let Kerry see who and which category was the big and bold one.
Hi.
All right, I'm going to end that. I'm going to share those results. All right, Kerry, tell us a little bit about what happened on that poll.
Oh, okay. The brewery tours. Yes, sake brewery tours, of course, obviously. Drinking Nagurayama as a close second. But we do have some people sailing in Lake Inawashiro. 7 people have actually sailed in Lake Inawashiro. Wow, this is very impressive. They're very, I think out of all the polls, this is the most balanced. And quite a few people have actually visited Fukushima, which is super encouraging. Wow, very good. Thank you so much for participating, everybody.
Yeah, that was great. All right, thanks all. And next. So we're off to Fukushima. We're off to Aizu Wakamatsu.
Let's go, man.
Kerry, tell us a little bit about where we're going, what we're doing, and who we're seeing.
Okay, so Fukushima, a little bit north of Tokyo. If you want to specifically go to Aizu, I would say it's about probably an hour and 45-minute train journey. You'll be switching trains, of course, but from Tokyo. And it is in the Tohoku region. Now, Fukushima located almost dead center in the prefecture. And Nagurayama is located in a town called Aizu Wakamatsu, which is known as a samurai town. There is a castle there called Aizu and Fukushima, hugely historical town in the sense that there was this there was this group of samurai made up of 17 to 19-year-olds called Byakutai. And when they heard news that their daimyo, their feudal lord, had basically fallen, they went to a mountainside and essentially took their lives in honor of their fallen warlord. And that's a very famous story. And if you go to the castle, you can actually see painted portraits of each member of that particular battalion. Anyway, it's moving on to a brighter side of the history. Nagurayama Brewery, been around for a long time, one of the most award-winning breweries out of Fukushima, and we will see why very momentarily. Thank you very much.
Kerry, awesome. Thank you for those great facts and history about Fukushima. We are ready to meet the brewers. I'm ready to meet the brewer. I would like to introduce you to the 5th generation Kuramoto, Kazuya Matsumoto. Kazuya-san, お願いします。
Kazuya-san!
Hi, welcome to Nagurayama Brewery.
反対ですよ。カメラ反対。お願いします。OK。出ました。
Welcome to Nagurayama Brewery.
顔見えないよ。もうちょっと近くに。
はい、もうちょっと近くに。My name is Kazuya Matsumoto. Thank you for joining today. So, let's go.
All right, let's go on the tour.
Now, for those of you who are familiar with Fukushima and or in Japan, based on where you are in the country, there are dialects, of course, and in Fukushima, it's known to use a lot of be and bai at the end of phrases, which hopefully we get to hear today. And if not, I shall show you.
はい。じゃあ、
どうぞ。
はい、どうぞ。はい。どうぞ。原料米の説明です。はい。原料米は主に会津産、はい。会津産の夢の香りを多く使用しています。純米酒、純米吟醸は 55%、50% まで精米しています。鑑評会出品用の大吟醸は、兵庫県産の山田錦を 35% まで精米し、名倉山大吟醸は 45% まで精米します。通酒や本醸造は福島県産の一目惚れを 65% まで精米をしています。
So just a little bit about our rice. We use Yume no Kaori rice as our main sake brewing rice. It is a local Aizu rice variety. Junmai is milled to 55% and our Junmai Ginjo is milled to 50%. For our competition sake, we polish Hyogo-ken Yamada Nishiki to 35%. Our Nagurayama Daiginjo is milled to 45%. For our futsushus and our honjozos, we use Fukushima Ken Hitomebore sake rice and we mill it to 65%. So as you can see there, those are all the different milling ratios and the different rice. Arigato.
はい。
All right, as we're walking through the brewery, you can see things are happening, action is going by, dodging the people.
続いて、名倉山では昔ながらの土を使用し、お米の外側がパサパサして内側が柔らかくなるように心がけて打ち上げます。蒸されたお米は高冷気を通し、エアシューターで1ミグラまで作られます。
So this is the steaming section. At Nagurayama, while using an old-style koshiki, We focus on steaming rice that is dry and firm to the touch on the outside and soft on the inside. Now, what Kazuya-san is walking to, or you can see the steaming process over there, and that massive white tube is the air shooter that transports the rice all the way to the brewing room.
はい、こちらの釜では、熱湯が入っています。この熱湯は道具類を、洗って消毒するために使用します。
After steaming, we pass the rice through the cooling and separating machine and then send through an air shooter to the brewing room. This container here is used for hot water for the cleaning of all the machines. Even the water that is used to clean the machines looks holy. Very, very special. Chris-san, have you seen air shooters at other breweries?
I have, yeah. They're actually relatively common as a means to transport. You know, there's still many places that do it by hand and run up and down these crazy steps, but with the air shooter, they're able to do so without having to dangerously climb steep stairs with heavy bags or heavy piles of rice on their shoulders.
Yes.
どうぞ。
続いて生菊です。こちらで麹米を、作っています。中をお見せすることができないので、作業風景をご覧になってください。
So Koji is the most important part in creating the flavor of sake. We cannot go inside the Koji room at the moment, so we made a video. Please watch it with me. So at Nagurayama, we have an automated machine and, of course, as you can see, a traditional Koji room. Both are connected to a computer to monitor the temperature and humidity. In the Koji room, we adjust the Koji temperature in the traditional way by hand. As you can see here, they are inoculating the rice with the Koji Kin, the spore that's inside that little container, with the beautiful sound of the click as they shake out the spores over the steamed rice. So one of the other unique things at this brewery is they have a Koji machine. So this is an automated machine that actually rotates the futobako. So the brewers no longer have to spend the night in the brewery. They have this machine that automatically moves the rice around so that it controls the temperature while it's inside the Koji room. And that's a big relief to many kurobito across the nation, but most specifically here at Nagurayama. はい、どうぞ。
はい、続いて酒母です。こちらでお酒の味と香りが決まり、お酒の設計を行います。酒母タンクの大きさは、約400リッターぐらいのものを使用しています。また、酒母室は、空調機や除湿機を導入し、温度、湿度の管理を徹底しています。
Here is where we create the taste and aroma of sake. We used to make Yamaha and Kimoto style, but now we focus on Sokujo sake styles. The shubo tanks are about 400 liters in size. We carefully manage the temperature and humidity of this room and have air conditioning and dehumidifier to help maintain the proper atmosphere for the shubo.
A fellow team member. We've seen him during each of our practice tours. He is great. He says hello every single time.
That's perfect. Thank you so much.
And I've actually met that young man. And so the last month's brewery tour, we were with Akitabare, who had these cheeks that were so puffy and squishy. Take that times 1,000, and that's the dude that we just saw. Hi, dozo. Sorry.
続いて、仕込み蔵の説明です。こちらが第二仕込み蔵です。電波が悪いので、作業風景をビデオに撮ってありますので、ご覧ください。
So this is our second Koji room. The Wi-Fi is quite bad here, so we can't go in the room. So we are going to show you a video. So in this room, we make all of our normal or Futsushu and Honjozo level sakes. 2013, we made all of our Shikomi rooms temperature controlled refrigerators. For this room, we set the temperature at 10 degrees Celsius. We use a larger tank for these sakes, and this tank style is a fully open top. With open tops, there's always risk of direct air contact, oxidation, bacteria, ambient yeast that can get in, but we can see the progression of the moromi directly and can smell the aromas from the tanks as in the old days, and the Kurbita use their 5 senses to monitor and adjust the fermentation as needed. And you can see there the shooter from downstairs is bringing in the kakemai rice into the shubo and the moromi, or the shubo added and then the moromi over the first 4 days of addition. はい、どうぞ。
はい、続いて、第一仕込み蔵です。主に第一仕込み蔵では、ヨキカナや大吟醸といった高級酒を仕込みます。冷蔵庫化された仕込み蔵の設定温度は、0度前後に設定し、仕込みタンクの大きさもやや小さなタンクを使用し、管理を徹底して仕込みを行います。
So this is our first Shikomi Gura. In this first room, we create our top level sakes. Only the Daiginjos and the Yokikana, the sake that you will taste later, is made in this room. This room we refrigerate to 0 degrees Celsius. We use smaller tanks, around 1,200 liters, to control the brewing. We have 7 tanks in total. As you can see, the tanks also have cooling jackets, so we can adjust each ferment individually as well.
ちょうどこれが、ヨキカナの仕込みを行っているタンクです。
And just in time, this is actually a batch of Yokikana being brewed at this moment. Kerry, I know I say this almost every single time, but could they make the planks thinner around these tanks? Could you put, maybe another foot on there so that you don't have the chance of falling backwards?
OSHA don't exist in Japan. They ain't got no room for OSHA. Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Piece of wood, 121 years old.
Exactly.
Still supporting the brewers. Holy.
Again, the thick walls, you can see them in the brewery from long time ago construction. The old wood ceilings.
Yes. Oh.
続いて、醸造です。はい、矢蓋式醸造機と、昔ながらの船の2種類を使用して、もろみを絞ります。こちらの船は、昔ながらの方法でお酒を絞ることができます。
So this is the pressing, aka filtration room. So this is where they use both the traditional fune as well as the modern yabuta press to separate the sake from the lees, also known as kasu. A fune press is an old pressing method where we fill cloth bags with the moromi and use both gravity and the weight of the top bags to separate the sake. We only use the fune for special daiginjo, and we have already pressed that sake. And then it's the fune right there. And of course, the yabuta, which was that machine to the left that looks like a gigantic accordion. Yes. And that is the yabuta, commonly seen in every brewery. We're getting close to the bottling. Walking over.
As you can see, the large tanks in this older room here as well.
Mm.
はい、続いて、貯蔵です。火入れされたお酒は、純米酒以上は屋外のサーマルタンクといって、タンク内の温度を0度に保っています。はい。
So after pasteurizing the sake once, we place the top level sakes into our summer aging or our outdoor aging containers. They are outside. These are temperature controlled or thermal tanks, and we keep them at 0 degrees to keep the sake controlled as we age them. Last week or 2 weeks ago when we did our test run, there was it felt like about a foot of snow outside. So it is cooled a little bit or warmed up a little bit from the heavy snows that were there last time we were here. はい、どうぞ。
はい。次いきます。はい。こちらが、温度の制御機です。はい。こちらが制御盤になります。
This is the control panel for the thermal tanks that are outside. As you can see, at -2, -1, and 0 degrees on there.
はい。で、普通酒や本醸造は、昔ながらの土蔵の蔵でゆっくりと、熟成をしています。
So as you can see, we walk through this old brewery. You see the thick walls. Our Futsushu and Honjozo are slowly aged in tanks in the old style storehouse made with earth and straw at ambient temperatures. I always love the ceilings in places like this where you can just see the thick old beams, actually a whole tree that's used to support the roof.
Absolutely. When I visited this brewery, certainly wonderful, but I didn't get to see, I don't think I remember seeing this much of the facility. Or maybe I did and just don't remember because of so much Yokikana in my blood system. But really, really fantastic. And I mean, this would, Chris-san, would you say this is a medium-sized operation?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, it's definitely not large. There's not that many employees. There's quite a bit of storage tanks, but that's probably again for, as they said, the futsushu and the honjozos that are aged a little bit differently than their premium sake.
はい、続いて瓶詰め、ラインの説明を行います。回収してきた瓶を、機械に通し洗います。その後、充填され、パストライザーという機械にベルトコンベヤーで通し、火入れを行います。従来は65度に熱した熱酒を、瓶詰めしていましたが、香りや風味が損なわれてしまいます。そこで低温で充填したお酒をベルトコンベヤーで移動させながら、シャワーを浴びせます。徐々に温度を上げていき、65度に達するまでシャワーを浴びせ、熱殺菌し、火入れを行います。
Everyone, the bottling line. So this is where we take all of the recycled, collected bottles and wash them. After that, we fill the clean bottles with sake and pass them through the automated pasteurizer on the belt conveyor. We used to heat the sake to 65 degrees Celsius before filling the bottles, but they noticed that the sake aroma and flavor dissipated and became less apparent. After discovering this, they adjusted the bottling line to include a pasteurizing shower that allows them to slowly raise the temperature to 65 degrees Celsius. And here's a lovely video with the filling of the bottles in action. There we have it.
On our way into the
Pasteurizer.
pasteurizer.
Yes. Shower time. Lovely.
Everyone, don't forget to check out the chat as there's lots of background information being put in there by our chat master, Craig Tapendera.
その後、温度を下げ、急冷を行います。このように瓶火入れを行うことによって、お酒の風味や香りが損なわれず、フレッシュなお酒をお届けしています。名倉山では、普通酒から大吟醸まで、全商品でこの製法でお届けしています。会津地方には30蔵程度の酒蔵がありますが、パストライザーを初めて導入しました。
After pasteurizing, they chill the sake in a cooler on the same bottling line. By pasteurizing the sake in this manner, they're able to keep the aromas and flavor of the brew and produce a fresh tasting sake. They pasteurize all their sake this way from Futsushu to competition Daiginjo. There are 30 breweries in the Aizu region of Fukushima, and they are the first to implement this technique. はい、どうぞ。
I almost felt like I needed to go beep, beep, beep as she was backing up there. I was getting scared she was going to bump into something.
OSHA. Okay. Moving on.
はい、続いて、瓶貯蔵用冷蔵庫です。お酒を瓶詰めした後の管理は非常に大切です。去年4月に完成した、冷蔵庫では、年間を通じてマイナス5度の、瓶貯蔵を行っています。主に1回火入れ商品や生酒の保管に使用し、年間を通じてフレッシュなお酒を提供しています。今後はこのような1回火入れの瓶貯蔵を増やしていく予定です。
So this is our bottle aging / separate storage and refrigeration. The storage of bottle pasteurized sake is very important. We constructed a new refrigerator in April of 2020 to be able to store sake year-round at -5°C. This helps us to better control the aging process. Mainly, we use this for namazake, including the namazume that comes from the bottling line that you just saw. This provides us with fresh sake all year long. We are planning to make more of this style sake once this one style sake, pasteurized sake, get moving forward. Hope I had trouble with that one. Hi, dozo.
よいしょ。扉も自動で閉まります。
It closes automatically.
Yes, indeed.
That was the hardest thing when I got back from Japan was walking into supermarkets and banging my head on the door. You know, you go to a convenience store or somewhere and you're like, wait, the door doesn't open? What's going on?
Yes. Yes. I think there was at one point where everything was so automated that there was a concern for the elderly not exerting enough physical force throughout their lives. So perhaps that is the reason why you ran into the glass door. Dozo!
はい。ギャラリーの紹介です。創業当時の銘柄、竹正宗の看板です。
Right. So this is the, oh dear me. Okay, the original brewery sign of Takeo Matsumoto, and we'll touch on what that means very shortly. はい、どうぞ。
はい、続いて、こちらが、名倉山の絵です。吉川英治文学賞を受賞した歴史小説家の早乙女貢氏が描いた名倉山の絵です。
はい。This is a picture of Mount Nagura drawn by Mitsugi Sotoome, a well-known historical novelist who has been awarded the Yoshikawa Eiji Literary Award. The mountain in this picture is where their name came from. はい。
はい。名倉山の由来について、ご説明します。はい。画像切り替わりますか？猪苗代湖の画像にしてください。はい。 こちらが猪苗代湖といって、日本では大きな、湖となっています。その、湖畔にですね、名倉山という山があります。名倉山の美しさから、銘柄を、竹正宗から名倉山にしました。あまり有名な山ではないので、地元会津の人でも知らない人が多い山です。地元で名倉山というとお酒の名前の方が有名になりました。
All right, a little bit about where the Takamusmone and then the Nagurayama name came from. If we can go to the Mount Naguraya picture, which is the next photo. His great-great-grandfather, who founded the brewery, initially named it, as we said, Taka Masamune. But after seeing the beautiful Mount Nagura at Inawashiro Lake, he changed the name. Mount Nagura is not famous, and most people in Aizu region recognize their delicious sake more than this beautiful mountain. So his grandfather just fell in love with it, and you know, Take Masamune is also can be read as Seishu, which is also another name for sake. So historically, quite a few breweries were named that, and brands were named in that manner. But because of his love for that mountain, he changed the name to what it is today.
はい。ちなみにこれが名倉山の全商品の、です。
By the way, these are all the products we make here at Nagurayama. Awesome. Thank you for an amazing tour, Matsumoto-san. 本当にありがとうございました。
ありがとうございました。はい。
I want to kanpai with you. Are you ready to kanpai?
はい。もうちょっと待ってもらっていいですか？まだ監督ですね。
He said he is, but please wait a little bit longer. He's got to get ready. So while he's getting ready, we want to make sure you all are ready. So please turn on your cameras. Grab your sake. This is the sake we will be toasting with. It is the Nagurayama Yokikana. We'll explain it a little bit more in a little bit, but this is where we kanpai.
Yes. Our old friend. I was there in March last year, right before the Corones totally took over. And they were just in the midst of creating this space to invite people to tour the brewery. So really polished. That display of bottles, something new for me, and it looks amazing. I'm really excited that everyone was able to see it.
Yeah, and that everybody's going to be ready to kanpai soon again. So if you don't have the sake, this is one we're drinking. We're waiting for our friend Matsumoto to come back and get prepared. So I'm gonna pour myself a glass. I'm going gyunomi today rather than the wine glass for some reason. So I'm gonna get that started so I can kanpai when he comes back. I hope everybody has their sake and they're ready to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Matsumoto-san.
はい。はい。
素晴らしい。
ちょっと、もう
Nice.
少しできますんで、ちょっとお待ちください。ごめんなさい。今呼んできてます。はい。
So we're unfortunately not able to grab our actual Toji today, but the man who's in charge of the ever important Koji production will be joining us for the tasting today. Watanabe-san.
Yes. Hi.
Matsumoto-san, それで乾杯しますか？
そうです。ちょっとグラスを持ってきますよ。ちょっと待って。
ボトル飲みいかがでしょうか？
ちょっと待って。
He's got to go grab his glass. So what we used to do in Japan all the time when I lived there was when we got to party before anybody else, we used to do something called renshu, which means practice. So we can all raise our glass. We just can't say kanpai. Just raise a glass, take a sip. This is renshu, or practice drinking before the official kanpai. Yeah, that'll work. That'll keep me occupied for a few minutes while he runs and gets a glass.
God, that's good.
Yeah. just such a beautiful, elegant sake. We're going to obviously talk about this a little bit more when he gets back, but just a fantastic beverage.
お世話になっております。あ、言っちゃった。
あれちょうど自己紹介が始まりますので。
He's a busy
松本さ
man.
ん
It is.
乾杯する前、ちょっと紹介してください。
はい、うちで、麹の担当をしています。渡辺さんです。渡辺と申します。よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお
よろし
願いします。
くお願いいたします。
So as I mentioned, this is Watanabe-san, who is in charge of the koji making at the brewery. All right, everybody, grab that cup. 松本さん、お願いします。
はい、じゃあ、それでは皆さん、良い日ですか。はい、じゃあ乾杯。はい。
乾杯。
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 All right, we've kanpai'd with it. Now let's talk about it. Kerry, can you tell us a little bit about the Nagurayama Yokikana Master's Touch?
With pleasure, sir. So we are looking at the Master's Touch, a Junmai Ginjo made from Yamada Nishiki and Yumi no Kaori, milled to 50%. And just a really lovely Junmai Ginjo in the sense that pairs virtually with anything. One of the more famous cuisines from out of Fukushima is raw horse meat, also known as basashi. Very, very old cuisine. And something as gamey as that, and something as crisp and flowery and juicy like this, may seem like an odd combination, but it works magnificently. Really, really fantastic sake. はい、どうぞ、松本さん。
はい、まずお酒の、説明ですね。純米吟醸Yokikanaの説明です。山田錦と夢の香り 50% まで精米して仕込んでいます。お米本来の旨味を最大限に、引き出したきれいな酒質に仕上がっています。お米本来の旨味や甘みを感じますが、酸味もあるので、後味は、しっかりときれい、さっぱりとした後味になっています。飲み方としては、冷やで飲んでいただくのがおすすめですが、ぬる燗も美味しくいただけます。おすすめの料理としては、日本そばや刺身、焼き魚、牡蠣といった食べ物です。
はい。So made with Yamada Nishiki and the Yumi no Kaori rice milled down to 50%, they were able to pull out the maximum umami of the rice and created a quality, clean sake. You can taste the sake's, the rice's umami and sweetness. There's also balanced acidity that yields a crisp finish and a refreshing aftertaste. How to drink it best? They suggest to enjoy the slightly chilled, so you can enjoy the sake, or you can enjoy the sake warm, also known as nurukan. Food pairing. This goes with Japanese soba, sashimi, grilled fish, and fresh oysters. はい、どうぞ。
続いて、
Yum.
はい。続いて、Nagori Ginjo.
All right, next we're going to move on to the Nagurayama Snow White Nagori Ginjo.
Hey, CJ, before we go in here, just one quick question, maybe, if we can ask. Why call it a Junmai Ginjo at 50% and not a Dai Ginjo or a Junmai Ginjo Tokebetsu was the question.
はい、松本さん、一つYokikanaに対して質問あります。どうして50% まで千枚分をやってるので、どうして純米吟醸でやっていますで、大吟醸じゃなくて。
一応、当社は昔から、昭和、40年ぐらいから、純米吟醸作りをしてまして、一応その時から、お米 50% 半分まで磨いて、ものを純米吟醸として、出してたので、まあ、その歴史を受け継いで、当社では 50%、以下のもの、45% のものから純米大吟醸として扱って、50% の、精米具合のものは純米吟醸として、製品として出しています。
かしこまりました。So the answer to that question is that historically, as a company, they started making Junmai Ginjo in about 1965. And so at that time, the Ginjo category wasn't necessarily represented as between 60 and 50%. So they made Junmai Ginjo back then at 50% polishing ratio. So from that point forward, everything that was at 50% polishing ratio was considered a Junmai Ginjo. And then Dai Ginjos start at a milling ratio of 45%.
Excellent.
And thus the no Tokubetsu Junmai Ginjo wording at all because of that previously explained aspect.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Everybody, we're moving on to the Nagurayama Snow White Nagori Ginjo. And dozo, Matsumoto-san.
続いて、純米吟醸濁り酒のご説明です。福島県産の夢の香りを、55% まで、精米して仕込んでいます。ワールド酒インポート専用のお酒で、国内で、販売していない特別なお酒です。純米吟醸ならではのフルーティーな香りとキレ、濁り酒の特徴である、濃厚なお米の旨味が見事に融合している純米吟醸酒です。また、濃厚な旨味のあるお酒なので、幅広いお料理に合わせやすいと思います。飲み方としては、冷やで飲んでいただくのがおすすめです。おすすめ料理としては、肉料理、焼肉とか、焼き鳥など、また中華料理にも合うと思います。
Craig,
Yeah.
give us a little rundown on that sake, please.
Yep. Some of you may have noticed this was actually my kanpai sake because it's just me and one bottle and I get to talk about this. So that's what I'm drinking. Essentially, our Junmai Ginjo Nigori, the Snow White, we've made it from Yume no Kaori rice milled down to 55%. It's all Yume no Kaori. It's made especially for World Sake Imports. It's made especially to come to the US. For all you Nama lovers, if we can't get a Nagurayama Nama yet, you can get this one, and the brewery freshness is incredible. As a Junmai Ginjo Nagori, it's got a fruity aroma, a clean taste. Like a classic Nagori, you still get the umami and the flavor of the rice. This sake will balance the richness of the Nagori with the fruit and elegance of a Junmai Ginjo. It makes it easy to pair with many. How we drink it best? Enjoy it slightly chilled. I like pulling the bottle out of the fridge, let it warm up naturally. Drink it by itself with grilled meats, yakitori, or grilled chicken, full flavored Chinese food with maybe some spice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Everybody, you know, the usual drill, smell it, taste it, enjoy it. Let us know what you think in the chat, or if you have a specific comment or question for both Watanabe-san and or Matsumoto-san, please let us know. They're there to answer questions. So while we discuss this, I know that most of us only have two sakes. We have a special third sake that we're going to talk about, and this is super secret potential news that this sake is something that may be joining us soon here in the United States. Matsumoto-san, 月給の説明お願いします。
はい、続いて、純米酒月給です。純米酒ですが、福島県産の夢の香りを 55% まで、精米して仕込んでいます。当社の特定名称酒の中で一番人気のあるお酒です。華やかさとふくよかさを合わせ持つ調和の取れた、どなたにもおすすめできる飲みやすい純米酒と仕上がっています。飲み方としては、冷やから熱燗まで幅広い温度帯で飲んでいただくのがおすすめです。おすすめ料理としては、おでんとか、焼き鳥のタレ、鍋物、うなぎにもよく合います。はい。
All right, so this is the sake that will hopefully be joining us in the near future. It's Nagurayama Gekyu, or Crescent Moon. It's made with Yume no Kaori rice, milled to 55%. Its alcohol percentage is about 15 degrees. Remember, this Yume no Kaori is a local Fukushima rice. This is, for them, their most popular sake in the premium category. As he said, it's gorgeous, full sake, and it's super easy to drink. We truly recommend this sake to everyone. This is their sake that they feel that everyone can enjoy. How to drink it best? Slightly chilled or even hot. This sake can be enjoyed in such a wide range of temperatures because of its roundness and its fullness. Again, I'm sorry You can't try it. I can't try it either. So I don't have it yet, but we will be hopefully adding it to this whole program soon. I did get to taste this a few years ago when I was judging the IWC competition in Japan, and it won in its category a trophy. So I can say I have had it, but I have not had it recently. But it is absolutely phenomenal, and we will get it here soon so you can all enjoy it. Ryan, to your specific question earlier, I am not sure why you did not pre-order the other sake, but you'll have to get it again soon. That is the end of the tasting part. This is where we open it up to questions. So please, if you have any questions, we have a Koji master here. So if there's anything specific about Koji, please feel free to ask, and we will direct that to Watanabe-san. Any questions from Matsumoto-san as well. This is one of the most award-winning breweries in all of Fukushima, which then translates to all of Japan. They make, obviously, as you can tell in the glass, absolutely beautiful, wonderfully balanced aromatic sakes. And we have an opportunity to talk to the people behind this. So feel free to roll up those questions and let us know. Craig, if you have any questions that you found in the chat, please feel free to answer. Or ask, rather.
Got one residual easy one. How many bottles of sake were on that shelf in the shop that they produce? How many different types?
はい。松本さん、さっきの商品のことで、その何品作ってますか？
季節商品合わせると40品ぐらい、もうちょっと4、50品は作ってます。
So he started out saying if you add them all together, it's about 40, nope, wait, a little bit more than that, close to 44, 45 items that they create at the brewery. Oftentimes there are multiple brands that are in the Futsushu and Honjozo categories, but they have a few Daiginjos, a few Ginjos as well. So down the line, you'll be able to see more and more Nagurayama here in the United States as we move forward.
So CJ, we're getting some coming in. Why do they focus more on pasteurized sakes than namas? Would they ever roll back to doing Yamahais or Kimotos again? And have they tried working with black Koji?
はい。OK。いろんな質問が入ってきましたので、とりあえず、最初の、ことは、麹に対して、黒麹とか白麹を、使っていますか？使ってみたいかなと思ってますか？
一応白麹で仕込んだものは、1本だけ、出してます。はい。で、黒麹は使ってないですね。
So they have not played around with black koji. It is a pretty aggressive koji to use in sake production because of the speed that it melts the rice. There are some people playing around with it, but they do make one sake with shiro koji. Another question. To answer it, I'll ask, but in the namazake aspect, they make plenty of namazake, and most of the sakes that they were talking about storing in that one refrigerator and with the pasteurization in the bottling line, those are all namazumes. So they fall into the nama category. They're just not nama or completely unpasteurized. 生酒に対して、さっき言ってたけど、もうちょっと生詰めとか生酒を増やしていこうと思ってる。で、たくさん作る方とか、それ生の方が多いになりますか？まだ、瓶詰めとか、火入れした酒がそのまま多いかもしれない。
一応、季節品として生酒を出しているので、あと、冷蔵庫の容量も限られるので、やっぱり、タンク貯蔵の火入れの商品が、多いですね。だいたい8割ぐらいが、2回火入れの商品です。80% ぐらいが、火入れの商品ですね。
かしこまりました。So it's about, at the moment, it's about 80% is pasteurized sake. But with the refrigeration and the bottling line, they are looking to do, again, a little bit more of the ones pasteurized. They do namasakes seasonally. So they do have quite a few items that come out in each season that are as a namasake. もう一つ、最後じゃないけど、この3つの中の最後です。ヤマハイと木本作りはもう一回やってみようか、もうこれから即上だけになります。
個人的にはちょっとヤマハイとか木本っていうのは、うちの目指す主質と違うので、やらない方向で考えてます。
So, as they had said, they made Yamaha and Kimoto in the past. It doesn't quite fit their vision at the moment of the sakes that they're looking to produce in the style and flavor profile. So at the moment, there is no plan to make Yamaha or Kimoto sakes. Craig, what else we got question-wise?
Do they make sparkling sake? What's the most difficult label that they make? And how have they seen the sake industry change over their 100+ years? And where do they see the industry heading in the future?
Okay. I got lost. I got caught up in the third question. So I immediately forgot the first two.
Do they make sparkling sake?
Yeah, okay. Sparkling no sake, 作ってますか？
スパークリングはやってないです。はい。
やってない。They do not make a sparkling sake at the moment.
What is the most difficult sake to make that they produce?
今の出品の中で一番作り方が一番難しいという酒は何ですか？
作り方が一番難しいと思う。この3つの中で。
もう3つの中でも全部の中でもどっちでもいいですか？
はい。じゃあ全部の中だと。
やはりその一番名古屋の中でポピュラーな商品、多くの方に、慕われている商品であるこの月給、こちらは作っている量も多いですし、その辺一番難しいというか気を使っております。
はい。So, the most difficult in all of the items comes down to actually the most popular item. Part of that is because it is the most popular, so they have to take a lot of extra care to make sure it is of the same quality each time. So for that reason, it becomes the most difficult to produce. この100年以上ぐらい名黒山が日本酒を作ってるので、もちろん皆さんがその100年の間に生きている人が今いないけど、今働いてる間にどういうふうにこの日本酒のKerry, how do you say industry?
Industry.
やっぱりインダストリーの中でどういうふうに変わってきましたか？で、将来にどういうふうに日本酒はどこ行くと思ってるとか、将来は何の酒とか何のことになりますか？
やっぱり2、30年前まではやっぱり普通酒、がメインで、うちとしても8割以上が普通酒の出荷っていう形だったんですけれども、やっぱりここ近年になって、普通酒と特定名称酒の割合がだいたい特定名称酒、純米系が6割、で普通酒が4割っていう形になってます。今後としてはやっぱり一回火入れの備長蔵の商品のラインナップを増やしていってよりフレッシュで、フルーティーなお酒を出していきたいなと思ってます。
はい。
はい。
I'm getting a workout tonight, everybody. By the way, this is the brain is cranking. So about 30 years ago or so, before they were about 80% futsushu out of all the products that they created. So not just kind of as futsushu, as you may know, is kind of table sake, just kind of that normal everyday sake, which is also delicious, but not focusing on that next level, these ginjos, dai ginjos, and even the junmai category. Closer to 10 years ago or around then, they noticed that it had moved a little bit to 60%. And more premium sakes had been coming out. And then now about 40% of all sake they produce is in the premium category. So they're seeing more and more need and desire for this higher level sake, the higher polishing rate, and the deeper concentration on high quality sake. For them in the future and moving forward, they see more namazakes and the namazume sakes that we mentioned before. They like that bright, fresh, kind of lively flavor. As a brewery, they're looking to continue to make that fresh, fruity, kind of bright style sake that you tasted today. And again, even in the Nagori, you were getting floral and beautifully balanced notes that aren't always present in Nagori sakes. So that's kind of their path for the future, is they're looking to those style sakes. Kerry, you're taking the next two.
Well done, Chris-san. You're on the roll. Yes, yeah. You're getting some massive applause from the crowd here. Well deserved.
What else we got?
Man, you picked a really bad time to hand it off to Kerry, because at this point, looking down the list, I've answered a few in the chat. I don't actually have anything to hand off to you unless somebody wants to speak up, except for the fact that you're amazing. That's been shared. And that you're doing amazing.
He's the sake ninja. Yeah, he is the sake ninja.
And actually, let's see, I believe it was Uerumaku wants you says you should probably just drink more sake and then you'll be fine.
Yeah, this is true. Thanks. And bar ueru kamu is basically a play on words as bar welcome with a little bit of a Japanese twist. So it's a welcoming bar where you come and drink great sake and enjoy great food out in LA. One last question, Matsumoto-san, Watanabe-san, コーク、どのぐらい作ってますか？
今、年によっても変わるんですけれども、一応、2000ぐらいっていう形ですね。
Okay. So about 2,000 koku, which is, I believe, close to what we would know in the United States is about 40,000 cases total, overall, including all of the products they make.
All right, Kerry, you're on deck, brother. So I'm going to give you three. Do they do brewery tours? And how does working with the Yume no Kaori rice differ from working with Yamada Nishiki? And I'll actually give you those two, and I'll answer the third one.
はい。では、松本さん、名倉山さんはツアーをしますか？
見学は基本的にはしてないんです。
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a no. Next question. 松本さん、質問2番です。夢の香りと山田錦の酒米を使用しますときには、その差は何でしょうか？
やっぱりお米の値段がまずもって違うっていうのがあって、山田錦はやはり高いお米なので、やっぱり高級な大吟醸とか純米吟醸以上のものに使用して、夢の香りっていうのは酒造公的米なんですけれども、地元産で、地元会津で多く取れるお米なので、その分値段の方も、抑えて入れられるので、ポピュラーな純米酒とか、そういったものは夢の香りを使ってます。
はい。So, right off the bat, it's not really a difference of use of the sake rice, but it's really about price. And Yamada Nishiki being the higher priced varietal, it's specifically reserved for their daiginjos, as opposed to Yume no Kaori, because it's a local varietal, readily available and also more affordable. So they use that sake rice for their popular brands, certainly their Junmai styles.
I have a follow-up.
はい、はい、どうぞ。
じゃあそれで例えば山田錦が大きいで心拍も大きいで硬いとか狭いが簡単とか、それで夢の香りに比べてそういう話ちょっといただいていいですか？
確かに 山田錦の方が心拍はしっかりはしてるのかなと。ただ、夢の顔、ごめんなさい、山田錦の方が心拍が、まあ、しっかりというかあって、まあ、仕込みやすさも山田錦の方が仕込みもやりやすいお酒で、お米ではあります。ただ、夢の香りは、の良さもあって、非常に柔らかくて、旨味のしっかり出るお米だと思ってます。
So, I asked him, what's the big difference between Yamada Nishiki and Yumi no Kaori in the sense of the size of the rice or the size of the shimpaku and the ability to use it or how you would use it? And the answer was that Yamada Nishiki is easier to polish. It's actually easier to make sake with, and it has a larger shimpaku or core. And then the Yume no Kaori is actually a softer rice with more umami, which is why they tend to use it more for their futsushu, honjozo, and Junmai style sakes.
And Crickson, you said you had a third question, was it?
Already
No,
taken
Craig
care.
said he had a third question, and then he answered it. He said he was going to answer it in the chat.
Yeah, and I went ahead and answered directly in the chat.
So sorry. And any other questions? Wonderful questions, by the way.
I'm behind.
They're great questions.
Yeah.
So by the way, before we run away and do the questions, I want to make sure we get our photo with everybody holding up a bottle and smiling for the camera. Matsumoto-san, 写真用の皆さんが冒頭こういう感じで持ってスマイルして一応写真撮ります。
はい。
All right, everybody, share your screen and let's put up a bottle. Get ready. We're still waiting for everybody to get there. All right, Dave, snap that photo. Everybody, one more time. Kanpai.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Yes.
I want to thank, again, we'll keep the questions open for a little bit longer, but I do want to share a couple quick slides. I want to thank Matsumoto-san and Watanabe-san and the brewery for letting us come into their lives for today. As he said, they don't normally do tours, so we're lucky enough to do this virtually. This is the team that makes these wonderful sakes, and we really appreciate them. We also want to say thank you to our sake partners that get the sake out to all of you while we do this. As always, in no particular order: Bishak Ramen, High Times, Baro Uedokamu, Milk Farm, Subaki, K&L Wine Merchants, Silver Lake Wine, True Sake, Sochi Sushi, DC Sake Online Shop. In Hawaii, we got Fujioka Wine Times, The Sake Shop, Kadota Liquor. Out there in Chicago, Murasake Lounge, always there, helping us out. Summertime Jazz Lounge as well. Ambassador Wines, Columbus Wines, Kuraichi, Hunter Points Wine and Spirits, and Sakaya in New York City. And then Uwajimiya, Oregon, Sake Nomi, Waz, Uwajimiya, Washington, Tamari Bar, and Dobe Wine Company out there in Washington State. Again, thank you all for getting that sake out to the people, as I like to say, because you guys get it to the people so that we can all enjoy it together and do these wonderful tours and learn from the masters like Matsumoto-san. So one more quick from me. I'll do one more quick kanpai. If you have any more questions, let's put them out there. But cheers, everybody. Thank you again for joining.
Kanpai. Yanbai.
Kanpai.
Bye.